Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. We're working on 20 years. I can't believe this. April 1st of this year, we will be on the air for 20 years. I'm really excited. You know, you can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And you can find us on the Newscaster Studio. That's the podcast, and so many other ways. You can find us on all the social media sites, even the ones who kick us off. We're found on those when we're actually live. And I have some news I'll be sharing with you in just about another month. Okay, so we're expanding into the South Carolina area, and we're very, very excited about that. I have a buddy with me right now. His name is Gunny. Well, actually, it's Bud Cornwell, and he's with the Patriot cause. And he and we're just friends, aren't we? Aren't we, Bud?
Absolutely. You know, we're the way I look at it is we're two people that are just as mad and happy as the rest. That's the way I look at it.
And things worked out so great. I mean, I know that the losers are out there hoping that we would fail, and it didn't happen because we have something that's called endurance, and we have something called faith, and we have something that we believe in. What are your thoughts?
No, absolutely. You always go back to the Bible and read the passages and try to remember this, that God is the one that places people into a government. And they're saying, well, wait a minute, they get voted in. You see, God already knows who they are. You know from beginning of time. So this whole process is controlled for a reason. And some of us have a hard time understanding that, especially like you're talking about, we have faith, we have morals, we want to do what's right according to God's eyes and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. So when we see people, especially politicians, that are not acting in that fashion, we want something to be done, right? However, what we should be doing, which is hard, I'm telling you, this is the hard part about being a Christian. We should be praying for those people. Mm-hmm. We should be saying, God, can you please reach that person, correct them, and bring them to you, because they do not know. When Stephen was getting stoned and Saul at the time was leading that effort to stone Stephen, Stephen said, do not hold these sins against them. Mm-hmm. And this is the difficult part for all of us, especially with politicians. Many times they would say something or do something. The first thing I want to do is, put my hands around their neck and choke them, But then the discipline, the Holy Spirit tells me, hey, you know what? Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's where we're at. I think we went through 4 years of what we would consider political hell, right?
Absolutely.
But we've come out a lot stronger. So,
well, let me ask your opinion about this, because Trump won the other time. He won 4 years ago, no doubt in my mind. And I think he won by a landslide. Probably not quite as much as he did this past time, but it was a landslide. As a nation, because, and I'm this way, I'm the type person sometimes the house has to fall on me before I can get it. You know what I mean? So a lot of folks just busy in their everyday life, didn't want to worry about politics, just like, well, whoever is going to be the president. People just had that attitude. Do you think we had to go through these 4 years to get it?
You know what? It's kind of like I would consider an oxymoron, right? For instance, here we got this great country, right? And you're supposed to be able to have the American dream and build a family and a house and progress and money and fame and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But at some point, many of us get involved in that and we forget about what can happen and to turn all that into suffering. Right. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, like the issue with the economy, this green plan thing that they think they can just replace our natural resources with.
It's insanity.
All of that. Well, every bit of that has caused many Americans, especially the middle class Americans, to fall into a state of depression where they didn't deserve to be there. They've worked hard to get up there, but they didn't deserve to be there. But then again, like I said, because of this happening, we kind of go back. We look back on our lives and we kind of refocus and go, oh, okay, now I remember what it's like, right? And now I'm going to appreciate what I've done and where I'm going to go. So it's a lesson learned. Now, the rich people didn't learn a damn thing. I'm serious, they didn't, because this didn't impact them like those hard-working American type people. So it could be a good thing that they are not like us, but I kind of wish sometimes they would suffer the same as we do, so they can learn. But because they didn't, they have no concept of how difficult life is to live. So nothing changed for them. So it doesn't matter what presidency, economy, all that stuff. They just.
Do you know what, talking about that, I always get this picture of Nancy Pelosi, who was in her mansion, and she's showing off her designer ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. In her, what, $24,000 refrigerator?
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. It's like, here's mud in your face, American public. I mean, that's exactly how that came across. It's just like, here's a punch in your face. I've got this and you don't. She's been in office, since I think Jesus walked on the earth or something. I mean, it's that old
40 something years, I think, right? Somewhere around.
It's ridiculous.
And matter of fact, I seen a picture of her with President John F. Kennedy. Right? And I'm going, wow, that woman's been around a long time. But then you go back and you think about, how much they got paid years ago compared to now. They make almost $200,000 a year type thing, right? But she's worth like tens of millions of dollars. And
so what are we using? Are we using Common Core math here? Because if that's okay, and listen to this. Okay, so they're servants of the people. They're servants. Okay, the people that I know. Okay, let's just use Toys for Tots. Okay, right. The Marine Toys for Tots Foundation. You're part of that. Oh, okay, yeah. And you volunteer there. You're not paid to do it. That's what a servant is called. LaRue Hardinger. Yeah. She's not paid to do this, and she does this year round. I mean, it does not just at Christmas now. She's doing stuff all through the year. That's what you call a servant of the people, what right. You and LaRue are doing, and all the other Marines who are involved in the Toys for Tots Foundation. It's not like I'm going on champagne trips all the time to Europe. That's not a servant of the people. And then you're making all this money off of scamming. I mean, these people get rich off of wars. They love a good war. Now, they act like they're peacemakers. They're not.
No.
Oh, they love
absolutely not. We have well, first off, I want to talk about the founding fathers, the establishment of the Congress, the presidency, the judicial system, etc. Right? Mm-hmm. These people didn't get paid either when they first started.
They were like
it was a volunteer role, basically. Mm-hmm. You got elected, you went to DC, right? Now the government give you like a stipend or whatever to, make sure you eat, whatever, right? That kind of stuff. But you didn't get a salary. And that was important because it kept them honest. If they couldn't get corrupted by money, the only thing that can corrupt them is themselves. Right. So that was important. Now, today is different. And first off, in my mind, the majority of the politicians that get elected in the federal realm, especially, right, already have lots of money. I hate to say that, but it is true. They've come from usually predominant families,
With the exception of J.D. Vance.
Exactly. There's always exceptions. You're right. There's exceptions, but
very
the majority
few.
of ones that I've seen live a pretty good lifestyle, and they decide, oh, I'm going to go and be a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I think to some of them, it's like it's a hobby. It's just something they want to do. I don't know why, but because I've talked to a couple of them before.
Okay, they want to be servants, but it's the servant of their own pocketbook.
Exactly. Now we have, and you know that we have a good batch in there now that I would consider our actual servants of the people. They're in there, and Tommy Tuberfield is one of them. And he's done well as the coach of Auburn, but I know what he's doing is great things. Because if you listen to what he says and how he talks, he understands what's going on in that, what you would call a swamp world, right? But he's not letting it push him into kind of like going with the stream, right? He pays attention to what's happening, and he's very tactful about what he says, how he says it. And I think he's a great person as a senator especially for Alabama. And him and Katie Britt working together are accomplishing a lot of stuff for the conservative, for Alabama, and we just need lots more people like that.
Do you think Tuberville's going to run again?
I don't know. That's good. That is a good question. I really don't know. I've had him on my podcast before, but we talked about all the veterans stuff. Because he's the head of the Veterans Committee in D.C. He's the chairman.
I had this idea. He just wanted to do it one term, possibly do something else. But I don't know. When I was talking with him, I just had this idea. I'm just want to be a one and done.
Yeah, and he may be. I know one thing. He's not going to get corrupted. I know that for a fact. He's a strong-willed person. He's a God-fearing man that understands. Let's do a comparison here, right? Let's take this very well-educated, God-fearing man, and let's compare him to AOC. I know you're going to laugh, but think about what I'm thinking.
I'm already laughing.
This woman, right, is a very childish.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it okay now to call her a woman?
Oh, well, I'm trying to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, she is a woman, as far as I know. But yeah,
well, no, she wanted to be called the pronoun before.
I know. But okay. Here's the point I'm getting across, right? Is this person goes into Congress, right? And here's what I know for a fact. She has no idea how the government works. She couldn't even name the three branches of government and got elected.
Yeah.
No idea how the government functions, right? Has been completely brainwashed on that there is no swamp, those kind of things, right? And then she goes and becomes this limelight, right? This kid. Well, when Tommy Tuberfield went in, he's the one that they should be focusing on. He should be having the limelight because of the type of person he is or whatever. This is how screwed up our government is. We're celebrating idiots, pure idiots that should never have gotten elected, and trying to make decisions based upon, feelings, right? So this is the issue this is the part I have the biggest issue with, is we have people that get elected that absolutely should not be there. They just don't have the capacity to serve the people properly in that position, but they get elected.
They're self-serving, and they belong to a pact somewhere. and who are being paid, and their agendas are being brought in. So, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Let me ask you another question, because most people, I mean, I commit sins too. I mean, everybody does. We're not sinless. But here's the problem. They want to act like we're haters, like we don't like gay people. We hate lesbians. We hate people like this. I don't hate anybody. But they've pushed that agenda so long that if you're a Christian, you're a hater. You think you're better than everybody. All this kind of stuff. That's nowhere near true.
It's not.
No. So they push this that, oh, we're going to mistreat you. We're going to hook you up with chains in the back of our pickup trucks and drag you down the road. I mean, it's that kind of a thing. They're the very ones who do that. Like, if you don't agree with their agenda, you're out of business. If you don't agree with their agenda, they will destroy you. I mean, okay, to the person who's on the fence about anything, I want to know, why are you on the fence? I would be for, people loving me. I mean, whatever my sin is, whatever stupid thing I may do, because Donna will do dumb things. Okay, so I want to know that you're not going to drag me up and down the road and put me out of business just because you don't like what I do. Christians are the ones who will go to bat for you. We will pray for you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to say that majority of people claim to be Christians. We always have those 10%, as you know.
Those are religious people. I'm talking about.
Exactly. You're right.
I'm talking about Christians.
Here's the thing. And it's hard for Christians to understand this sometimes. If you have atheists or people that don't know, you know what I mean? They kind of don't want to say there is no God, but they don't want to believe in God, all that stuff. If they don't have God in their life, then they have to feel that spot, that process that was naturally put in us with something else, right? And that something else is internal love of themselves. That's the replacement. So when they are in that involvement and in that type of attitude, they look out into the world, and that's the only thing they have is the world. So they want that world, everything that they live in, to be like they want it to be, like their utopia. And give you a great example. I hate to say her name, but Hillary Clinton got the medal, that whatever that medal was, right?
Well, yeah.
And so,
and George Soros, can you believe George Soros would even be thought of?
That's crazy. So she gets this medal, and they post this picture on our work Slack channel, right? And I'll look at it, and this person comments, and she says she hates America, right? Now I want you to think about what I'm going to say.
Well, she does.
Well, wait a minute. Hang on just a second. Let's think about it this way, because I think this is what the truth is. She doesn't hate America. Wait a minute. Because she makes America what she wants it to be. You follow me? So in other words, she thinks that she and they are America. Even though we know that's not true. She's a communist left and right, but they are changing what to them is their America. They're using the Constitution,
but it's all about money.
Make their America.
Gunny, it's all about money. It's because she makes a boatload of money. There should be no Haitians here, and let me tell you why. Okay, they had the Clinton Foundation. The hurricane came through. The Clinton Foundation was supposed to be giving billions of dollars to this foundation. All of those poor people who went through just living hell during that hurricane had nowhere to live, nothing to eat. It was already a terrible island to begin with where they lived. Now, the elites went to the better part of it, but I'm talking about where the common person lived. They should have been taken care of. They could have had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, would have been thousands of times better than those huts they were living in before the hurricane. The Clinton Foundation promised that. That didn't happen.
No, it's Well, it's not going to happen if.
But now, her daughter had a beautiful wedding, cost about $2 million.
Well, that's true. If we rely on anybody, right, that are rich people, and they are not Christians or at least God-fearing people, they could be Muslims or whatever. Because the point I'm making is, when you're connected with a higher power and God, and especially as a Christian, you can't do these things. The Holy Spirit won't allow you to do this, to be corrupted like this. I guarantee you, it's impossible for a true Christian to do these kind of things. However, if you're not, and you use the Ukraine war as a great example, if people think for 1 second that those billions and billions and billions of dollars are fueling, weapons and all that, I'm sorry, it's going right back into politicians' pockets. And
you're in la la land if you believe otherwise.
It's the same thing. Yep, it's the same thing. It's money is, well, it's in the Bible. You can only serve one master. You can't serve money and God.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just how it is. Exactly. I'll tell you what, there have been gods with a little g. There have been gods all through since creation. That's just the way it's been. The new God now is the green deal. That's the God. You love the earth. You love that God created, but anyway, you love the earth. That's insanity.
It is insanity.
That's plain crazy. But I don't think they really do. It's an opportunity to pad the pocketbook and to gain power.
Well, true. And you think about it, when people talk to me about, like political power and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. In my mind, I'm going, because I always thought about running for local, maybe a mayor or something like that, right? But I don't understand this power thing, unless you are a self-centered type person, then you don't want power. You want to be able to be in a position to take care of people. Right. So it goes back again to who gets elected into office. We have too many people in our Congress today that are not Christians. Not only that, we have people that are communists, and we have people that are bona fide Muslims that hate this country. How can you be a politician and hate the country that put you in that seat is beyond me. But they're everywhere.
I want to thank you for your service. I mean, it's awesome. Every time I see somebody in the public who I recognize has been in the military, I always thank them. Always. So I've got a question for you. Okay, there are groups of people who don't love us. Okay, we're considered, especially from the Muslim world, we're like the problem. Okay, so how in reality should people who are of Muslim faith be in the military? I just have to, like, I'm talking about Fort Hood, the guy that wanted to keep that quiet. This guy was a Muslim who shot a bunch of people and killed them. It was mass murder. Okay. But that had to be kept quiet. We couldn't talk about that. We were in trouble. Shouldn't you be, okay, shouldn't you be accepted into the military? I mean, shouldn't it be because of your beliefs? You love the country. You want only the best. You'll give your life for the country. Isn't that the way it used to be a long time ago?
Oh, absolutely. When you go into the military and you raise your right hand and you say the oath, right? Mm-hmm. You're guaranteeing the citizens that are paying your salary to be in the military that you're going to do at least two things, if not more. Number one, you're going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That's number one. So if you're coming into the military and you may have a different type of attitude, right? You know, maybe as a Muslim, as a Buddhist, right? Whatever. And you're coming in the military and you cannot 100% agree to that, which, by the way, the politicians also have to agree to it.
They should be, yeah.
Then you should not be in the military. However, what the problem is this, Donna, this is the sad part, the very sad part. Ever since Vietnam, and other than maybe during the beginning of the first Gulf War, right? You couldn't get enough people in the military, especially today. Every single service, except for the Marine Corps, which I think is interesting, every year for the last 5 or 6 years, they have failed to bring in enough people to fill the spots that are necessary in the military. Do you want to know why?
I think
It's because of the DEI stuff, and also because if you're a Christian person and you love your country, you do not want to go into a military where you have all of these people that don't know who in God's name they are. Because when you go to war, you do not know if that person is going to be able to handle combat with you, because your life is dependent upon that person.
Okay.
So if that person is a Muslim, for instance, and they don't believe in protecting you, because a lot of them believe in actually killing you, right?
That's my point.
Exactly. I'm not saying that they can't come in. I get that. I'm with it, right? But if you can have freedom of religion, that's what it's all about. But freedom of religion in this country comes with a price. And that price is you must be and assimilate as an American. If you can't do that, you should not be in this country, period. But see, that's the problem that we're having. That's the largest problem that this country has today, especially after all the immigrants coming in. You have millions, think about it, millions of people in this country that will not assimilate to be Americans. They want to come in here and not change their lives. A lot of them come in here and all they want is the benefits of it, and they can't stand the American people around them.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Okay. This has to do with being an infidel. Okay. Muslims believe Christians are infidels and they're supposed to be dead. Okay. So you want those people in the military? That sounds like you should be working with ISIS. I mean, you should not the United States military. I mean, am I seeing this the wrong way?
Well, if it was up to me, yes, I would say Muslims should not be in our military. However, this is what I do know for a fact. You have people that are Muslims that are good people, right? And they don't look at the Quran and do all the things, evil things that the Quran tells.
Some religious people don't follow the Bible either.
That's correct. So a lot of them believe in Muslim religion, right? But they're not radicalized. This is the issue: is these people are radicalized, right? And they're absolute. I was watching a couple videos and showing some of these Muslims in England, and going down the street with machetes and just chopping people up. And I'm just going, what in God's name is going on here, right? Mm-hmm. This, I hate to say it, but this could happen here. The next thing you know, you're going to have enough of these people, and how can we accept anybody? I really don't care what religion they are. How can you accept a person in the military that does not assimilate to American way of life and believe in supporting America?
It's not a 100% God-fearing, loving, I love my country military. It's just not. Okay, let's go into a commercial break. We went just a little bit over, but that's fine. So we're going to go into a break, and we're going to return in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on the newscasters.com. So proud to be part of that team. Absolutely. You can find us on all the social media sites. And I've got some fantastic announcements in about 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I'll let you guys in on it. So we're heading into South Carolina. We're expanding out there as well, and North Carolina. So, and we're going to be closer to my son and daughter in love. So I'm really excited about that as well. Mother's coming with us. So Mother's going to be a South Carolinian now, and that's pretty exciting. So Gunny has the Patriot Cause, and you have a podcast also on the Newscaster Studio.
I do. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't done a couple of shows in a while. So, and the reason behind that is holidays, visiting with family, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to get back in it full force this year. So definitely go to the Patriot Cause. Like Donna's talking about the different other organizations, news organizations. I'm on Getter. I'm on X. Those different places. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person. But definitely so. Newscasters is a very good place to go and get. What I like about it, since you brought that up, Donna, is this. I'm so happy that we're finally, as people in America, have gotten so fed up with the mainstream media that we have decided to stand up our own media. Mm-hmm. This is, I think, one of the best things that's ever happened in this country. And, of course, the internet and, the invention of the computer, all that stuff, that's all part of us citizens being able to be our own news agencies. And it's spreading like wildfire, and it's killing these people. And I love it, sitting there watching, CNN and MSNBC and all of these people fire people and get rid of people and, cut their pay, and, they're drowning. I mean, really, really drowning. For instance, you get people like, Dan Bongino. He has more followers and watchers on his radio show and his podcast and Rumble and all that than all of the media put together.
Can I ask a question? You mean he has more people who watch him than The View does?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
That's what makes it great. Any of that. I think we have more people than The View does. I really do. Who watches it? I mean,
well, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that my grandkids, when they get older, and they have their kids, right? What they're going to be doing is they're going to be going back and they're going to be getting some of the episodes of The View so that they can teach their kids what not to say. You know what I mean?
I do too. I think it's going to be a joke. It's going to backfire. I think it's already backfired. I really do. This last election did it. They thought they had it. They thought that everybody was watching them, and they're not. They're so tired of it. I mean, it's just sort of tired of the nonsense. Let's talk about President Trump. Okay. So I think. Okay, so he learned a lot. Okay, he learned not to trust morons who said they knew what they were doing. He's learned that. So he's putting his own team in place. It's like starting a business. That's what he's doing. He's getting good people in there, and I'm really excited about that. And I know he's going to have to jump some hurdles. They're already throwing stuff out there. I've had this flu that I think was thrown out there to us. Okay, I know, Donna, tinfoil hat. This flu has been terrible. It felt, Phil and I both had it for weeks, all through the Christmas holidays. We had a lot of fun. Okay. So but it was like, it was in your lungs. It was kind of like this gurgling kind of a cough. It was just weird. I mean, it was very COVID-like. It reminded me of it. Yeah. But anyway, okay. So they're going to throw other things out there at him, but I think he's got the right team in place now. It's going to help him jump hurdles. And that's what you need. That's what a team is. What do you think he's going to do for
Well, we did find out, which I think is true, that Pete Hegseth is going to get confirmed because Thome, I guess that's his name, Thome or Theme or whatever, senator of the, lead senator, has basically agreed that he's going to get confirmed. So that's the beginning. That's very important to have somebody like him in the Department of Defense. So what's going to happen is, as these people start going into the government, people think they think that things are going to like really ramp up and happen fast. I'm telling you, they're not. Don't get wrapped around the fact that, because he's picked some very good people to go in and do this and, quote, clean up the mess and so forth. Some of them are questionable and like always, but Trump is a businessman. He's not a politician. He has his whole life. You have to compromise and make deals. And that's what Trump does. That's why they hate him. That's why the rhinos hate him, because, it's amazing what's going on. But what I want to add is he's picking great people. So the biggest changes that are going to happen instantly is as soon as he's inaugurated and gets into the White House, there's going to be stacks. I mean, stacks of presidential orders to kill all this stuff that's been going on. That's the biggest impact that's going to happen initially. Mm-hmm. It's going to take some time for these great patriots to be leaders within these departments of whether it's Treasury, etc. Right? It's going to take time for them to turn the ship. You cannot just overnight change the Department of Defense. Can't do it. It's never been done before.
I don't know. Because so many things that happened in record time, even with fighting COVID, even with fighting everything else, happened.
That's true.
What do you think gasoline will be per gallon?
Oh, I don't even want to think about it. Well, you got to think he's already, put out another order against the gasoline, and that kind of stuff. But
I think it's going to be record time. I think it's going to be record time. In 2 weeks, you're going to see the price of fuel go down.
But I'm going to tell you something. This is absolutely true. Let me tell you why. I have a brother that lives in Louisiana, and he works in Bellchase. He's a welder in Bellchase, which is south of New Orleans, right? Mm-hmm. And we were talking the other day. I said, how's it going and all that stuff? He says, man, you won't believe what's going on in Bellchase. I says, what do you mean? He says, they are building one of the largest gas plants I have ever seen in Bellchase. I'm like, what? Why? You would think that, because it takes time to build these. So, they've been building this plant for years now, right? So even they knew at some point that Trump was going to come back into office and turn the gas back on. Uh-huh. So absolutely, there's this also happened last time Trump came into office.
Yes, it did.
I lived in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And before, when Obama was in there, you drive around, there was no new buildings. There were no new houses being built, very few houses being built, right? The economy sucked. Everything went up again, all that kind of stuff, right? And then 6 months or so before Trump got elected, right? You drive around, all of a sudden you see new office buildings being built. You see, it was just amazing. It's absolutely amazing when people really understand. They understand and know what the priorities of the leftists, the controlling class.
It doesn't.
Their priority is got nothing to do with you. It's just pure power. That's all it is.
It's just pure. I know and I've asked a lot of folks, who do you think the wizard is standing behind the curtain? Who do you really think it is? Who do you think it is?
That's a good question. I always want to say it's Obama has been still running the show, but I think it's more than that. I think, especially, George Soros and people like him obviously have a hand in a lot of things that's going on. For instance, like it's proven fact that Soros has given money to justices, to get elected in different states and that kind of thing. That's a fact. So I don't think you can just pinpoint saying, okay, Obama's the one running the show telling Biden what to do. I think Biden is being controlled by a lot more overseas power than internal. I really believe that. I think the connections that he has made with the Ukraine, with China, those different agencies, because the failure of America, by bringing America down, then we know for a fact that these other countries will gain more political power, economic power, just like, BRICS, in England, they were on the verge of eliminating the dollar as the major source of funding, right? That's dangerous for this country. Very dangerous. But it's not dangerous for the elites. Because if you got millions and billions of dollars, you can invest that money anywhere around the world, right? And you can destroy America and still be rich. That's the only reason they can do this.
Let me ask your thought. Okay, let me ask your thoughts about this. Okay, so I really do believe since time began, it's been this division between good and evil, and that's just light and Satan. Well, can it be that Satan's the person behind the? I mean, can't that be it? And then all of these stupid people like your Soroses and your Obamas and all these people, they're just stupid tools. They think that they're going to be the rule of the world. They're not going to be the rule of the world. Satan wants to be the ruler of the world. I mean, that's what since time began.
Yep. He has got authority given to him by God as the ruler of this world. I mean, the Bible tells us that. And it's especially to a lot of, especially Southern Christians, right? They have a hard time when I tell them this. It's a good thing. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're not going to be here. This is not where we're supposed to be. Right? So going through suffering and dealing with stuff that Satan's dishing out makes us stronger, makes us focus more
because
on God.
We can see. I mean, like everything that happens, you're like, wow, that's biblical end times.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's in Revelations that this is all going to happen.
I think it's funny, Donna, I remember being 8 years old, and this would have been 1970, right? So I was with my grandmother in Houston, Texas. And to listen, she was a Pentecostal person, and to listen to her constantly, the end times is here. End times, I mean, it was just over and over and over again, right? And I thought about it, and I'm going, I look at how it is today and how it was back in the 70s. I'm going,
it was a basic cake, man.
They were just saying it. They didn't have no proof, nothing. Now you can see it. I mean, it's actually
literally.
All you got to do is what's going on.
I got to get Revelation. Just
I think you didn't have the internet in 1970, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how could she? I mean, I guess she's just basing on her life and where she was living in Houston.
Well,
I don't know.
When you view how America was in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and then 50s, and then you get into the 60s, we got all these crazy riots going on and nuts, and then and all of these idiots who were like wanting to burn down the world in the 60s now are in office. So that's what we've got. Absolutely. I wanted to ask you we got about 10 minutes left in this segment. I want to talk about J.D. Vance for just a few minutes. This guy actually came literally from nothing. Now, I read the book. If you want, the best information you're going to get is from the book. Mm-hmm. The movie is good. I mean, we bought the movie. That's one of my favorite movies now. And when you're trying to overcome things, let's say you're in a situation, it could be anything. It could be finances. It could be, literally you're on drugs. It could be all kinds of stuff. When you see the life that this guy lived, that he had to overcome, and he had to make a decision several different times throughout his life, he had to make a decision on which way to go. It's amazing that this guy was able to turn that around. And those are the stories I like to see. I don't want to see some politician that stole a bunch of money in taxes, and that's how they made it big. I'm talking about somebody who literally worked their rear end off, and it worked. and he had faith. All those things work, absolutely. And those are the stories I like to see. So where do you see J.D. Vance in 10 years?
It could be president.
If he's not corrupted somehow. I mean, it can happen.
I don't think he's going to get corrupted. And the reason, I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. One is because, like you're talking about, he had to work to get where he's at, right? So that position that he's at, especially as vice president, is very important to him. And if you listen to the way he talks, he doesn't scream. I love this man because he doesn't forcefully. He's nice, calm, cool, collect, and he answers the question and he doesn't hold back. He tells everybody, CNN, MSNBC, anytime he gets interviewed, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, right? So I like that. Of course, the other thing is, he was a Marine, right? So he's got some discipline in his body. And I think this is great, that he's a Marine. And that's why I'm praying that he runs for president, which I think he will, and becomes, the 48th president as a Marine. That would be just absolutely awesome. Because we've never had a Marine as president.
Let's just face it. Most vice presidents are nothing but a talking head. They're the second banana. Okay, did you ever watch Johnny Carson where you had Ed McMahon? Okay, perfect example. Johnny Carson would be the president. Ed McMahon, bless his heart, was the second stupid banana on the show. He really never said, he just laughed at everything Johnny Carson would say. Okay, that's what we've had in the past as VPs. I can't think of a single good one. They've all been bananas.
That is an awesome way to put that. I've never thought about it that way. That is a great way to explain that.
So J.D. Vance is not a second banana. You can see he's got a brain in his head. He's not like cackling Kamala Harris was for the past 4 years. He actually has a brain. He has some substance to himself. Okay, I like his wife. He loves his kids as far as I know. I don't know what happens, behind closed doors, but I'm just saying the woman doesn't act like she's scared to death of him. She acts like she's confident in who she is, which is a grand thing. Absolutely. I don't feel confident with him. So they're going to be after him now. They're not going to wait. The left is going to be, because they know that he's going to be a tough person to run against. He better keep his nose clean.
And he will. I mean, I'm one of those, I guess you would call them from Missouri, show me state, right?
Yeah.
So when people start talking stuff, especially about politicians, right? It is so easy. It is so easy to go and read something somewhere, no matter where, and twist those words into a narrative that you want to say about that person. Right? And what I like about people that are truthful, they don't go back at these people. They never, Vance never talked about all this crap that was put on him. He could care less because it ain't true. But politicians that do this stuff, they get this guilt trip, right?
They get jealous.
And they want to start talking to people about it. And J.D. Vance is not that kind of person. That's what we need. We need leadership. People that, don't listen to the rumor mill. And all these leftist, communist people, this is what they thrive on. They want some dirty meat to put on somebody else so that they can have the power of controlling.
Yeah,
that's what this is all about.
Yeah, but they can't run on success because they don't have it.
They don't have any.
That's the problem.
Have something.
So what you have to do, and this is what competitors in business do all the time. Believe me, I've had plenty of radio people who try to take me down here. I just go on because and just do my job and don't worry about what people have said. Just go on and do what you're supposed to do. That's what J.D. Vance has done. I'm using the debate as a perfect example. I lied to J.D. before, but after the debate between him and Tampon Tam, between those two right there, that did it. It already did anyway, but I'm just telling you, signed, sealed, and delivered, I'm yours. I mean, Vance was mine. I mean, it was just like that. Okay, I love the way he handled it. And then Tampon Tam would sit there on the other side making these stupid, goofy faces. And while While J.D. Vance was sitting there all in confidence, just answering the questions.
Well, I love this. Yeah, think about it. I'm thinking about it. Okay, so they decide to put Kamala up for president, right?
Yeah, sorry.
They put her up. She didn't get elected to go run for president.
Hey, how about this? When they had the 50 people who were running for her, she was the first one who left the stage. And then she's the best they could do. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to say.
But anyway, so all right, so then and it's like, okay, running mate, right? I don't remember if it was I don't know if the guy was in Ohio, but anyway, the initial guy that they thought was going to be the VP or expect the VP, believe it or not, was really not a bad guy. I mean, he was a Democrat, acted like a Democrat, but
he wasn't lunatic enough.
He wasn't crazy. So the first time I saw Tampon Tim, as he calls, I looked at him, I was listening to him, and of course he was there with Kamala. Donna, I'm telling you, the words came out of my mouth going, how in God's name can you find somebody that's worse?
It's like, do you want to lose?
You know what I'm talking about? It's like, yeah.
Are you trying to lose?
This is the worst decision that she could have made. If she had a strong vice president, right? You know what I'm talking about? Leadership type vice president, not a faggot walking around in some dress or whatever, And on top of that, basically a traitor. He, retired from the military because he was too afraid to go to Iraq with his buddies. Oh man, I hope I never meet this guy because he's gonna get my gunny voice. Let's put it that way.
How about this way he would act on the stage? I
mean, it's crazy.
They were both like Laurel and Hardy or something. I mean, it was like they were just the way he. I mean. There was no gracefulness. There was no, I like to have fun. You know that. I like to have a laugh. But there is a time and a place for everything.
Yeah, it's in your house when you're playing with your grandkids and stuff like that. Then you dance.
The real right there. But if I'm running for president of the United States, you need to show some class, like J.D. Vance and President Trump. You need to show some sort of class. If it's a possibility, you need to do that. I did not see these two cackling hyenas as running the country. We would have been in World War III for sure within 2 months. If those two, it was bad enough the other 4 years. But with these two, they were both loaded guns of stupid. There's no way. Okay, 1 minute left in this segment. What would you like to tell everybody before we go?
Well, I think times are going to get better. I don't know or can predict when things are going to happen and roll, hopefully sooner than later. Mm-hmm. With my view of the world, I'm going to try to spend more time concentrating on me and less time concentrating on the world as much as possible, because over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had to present all of this evidence and stuff to people that never had no clue what was going on. And it can get depressing. I'm telling you, it can get depressing.
Oh, yeah, it can when you do
Yes, ma'am. So the good news is I don't have to be as depressed anymore. I can actually talk about good things.
How about this, to quote someone very, 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 very special on the 9/11 incident that happened? Let's roll.
There you go.
Go for it. Gunny, thank you so much for being with me today. It's always a pleasure, and I always look forward to every show. I'm always tickled to death. Now, you hang around, okay, because we're going to have to get you set up for February. And thank you guys so much for watching. Continue sending emails. It makes my day. Send emails to Donna@donnasedge.com. Just like it says right down there, Donna@donnasedge.com. Thank you so much. Hope you have a super duper awesome blessed day.